So if you ever wonder what is the best way to store your Lego, well, in this video we're going to talk about the worst way, because that seems to be my way. We're going to be looking at how I store some of the different things in my collection. The only really organized part of my entire collection is the store area, the Bricklink store, which we're in. It's where we got all these stack-ons, and they're great because you can put one item in each drawer, and you number the drawer, and the software keeps up with it. You can either use Bricklink or the BrickTsar software. So that's great. But what about your own personal Lego? So Mardi Gras Man, he asked that question, what is the best way to store your Lego? And everybody has their own method. Some have things on display, some put things in containers, some things keep them in the original box. Some people don't even open their Lego sets, which I find that very weird, to never want to open your Lego sets. We want to build them. That's why you buy them, isn't it? To build them. You don't buy them to collect in a box and keep it sealed forever. Wait a minute, I got some that have been sealed for like 30 years. Oh, it's so hard. But let's show you some of the different things in the collection here. So this is part of, that's my selfie stick. This is part of, use it as a pointer. This is part of my store. And right now it's got all these sets I'm taking with me to Philly. We're going to be putting these in the van to go to Philly. And a lot of people, this is a stupid pointer. A lot of people do use stack-ons to store their Lego pieces. They may put like, group them together where they're all a particular type. Where like, you know, they're going to put all their plates in one, or their tiles, and they have them color coordinated. That's a great way to do it, and you don't have to number the drawers if you do it that way. Some people use these shoebox containers if they got more of a quantity. In the original version of my Bricklink store, I used bigger versions of these containers. I used the drawers like these, and I kept everything in Ziploc bags. But then over time, stuff like this happens where it becomes a big mess. Oh no, there's Bricks for Chris. What is Bricks for Chris doing in here? As seen on YouTube, B for Chris. I need to keep that out. There's some gifts from Mardi Gras Man in there. This has gotten a little disorganized here with these containers. Some series minifigures, random stuff. Oh look, watch out for snakes. So if you have a lot of anything in your collection, it's always good to label things. So I've labeled these. These are still part of the stores. I used to use these shoebox containers to keep a completed set. Like this box used to have set 856 in it, but it doesn't now. I think that is still set 8854 Technic set. But over time, as I've taken the sets out and put them elsewhere, some of these have gotten all the way. And I think that is set 114 there, set 4020. But I don't have them in a particular order. So that's what I've been doing in the other series where we've been putting things in boxes and doing it that way. But right now, the vast majority, I'd say 90% of the stuff that I own is not organized. So all this stuff, even though they're in containers, it's totally not organized. This section is totally organized. All that is organized. All these boxes, I use these old Lego game boxes and I labeled them. So they're numbered and we know exactly what is in each box. If we go and look at Bricklink or BrickTsar, we'll know what we got. All totally organized, organized, not organized, not organized. And believe it or not, this is organized. These are the boxes we did in the BrickTsar collection, inventory collection update. So even though it looks like it's just random, it's not. So box R1, inside there are Ziploc bags filled with completed sets. So these are all complete or near complete sets. If they're not, like in the Fabuland box, there are some random items in there. But I've put everything on BrickTsar, or no, I take it back, brickset.com. Brickset is a great website for keeping track of your collection. So I stopped at R5, R6, which that may end up becoming at some point. That's got all the Disney Pixar Cars Lego sets, or not all of them, but a lot of them in there. There's some up here too that are the Duplo. So eventually I'll get through and organize all of those. Now some people like to do, if you have the box of a set, to keep the completed set within the box. And that's a really good way to if you do that, if you build a set, then after you're done with it, you take it apart, put it back in the box. That's the best way to store something without losing the pieces. If you keep things assembled and you play with it, over time, it's all going to get out of whack. Other things, like different types of furniture can be used. I found that these rollout containers, they're more good for storing stuff to play with. I keep forgetting to build this set. We need to build that. Borgen Rifkin. Need to build that. But those just aren't the best ways of storing things. These are something you'd probably see in a warehouse with parts like for, I don't know, like tools or nuts and bolts and things. The only reason I have these, I got that at Costco. It wasn't that expensive at the time that I bought it. I got this one for free. So anytime you can get something free that you can store stuff in, that's great. These are labeled and numbered. Again, they're in the Bricklink store. And the shelf, originally these were kind of organized, and over time as you move things around, you set things up, it gets kind of unorganized. But this is another way that people store their Lego pieces and sets, actually more of their sets and mocks and things. The only problem is over time you will get dust. Putting things in a container, that'll protect them from dust. These containers here, these are great for storing vehicles. They make different sizes. You can pick these up at a string from that Oxford set. It's annoying me. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, places like that. And they even have the smaller ones for storing matchbox size cars, which work great for the HO scale. There's a firehouse. It totally fell apart. But I got to come up with a better solution for placing these on the shelves. I mean, I got some of the stuff in there. It's just I've put a bunch of other random parts, and it just does not look really neat at all. So if you got larger items, they're not going to fit on these smaller white shelves like this. So I got these big shelves here at Costco, and they do work for some of the sets. I mean, even like that big Star Destroyer, whatever you call that set, the Darth Vader's one, I think. It fits on here. Great. The X-Wing Fighter and these others are a little bit tall. You'd have to lower the shelf to get them to fit, which you can do. You can set these at different settings, but I put them up here on the top. That kind of works using these shelves. And I had bought a bunch of these, and I initially had planned to use these to have display all the built sets going around the edge of the city, but it becomes... yeah, it's become a logistical nightmare trying to figure out how to fit everything in the basement. This can be your collection's enemy, a water heater. So I tried to avoid keeping anything near it where it would get wet. And I think about, okay, if this thing was to suddenly spew water out of the bottom, where would it go? So it's always good to have things in the containers around it that are protected for if it does flood. So I got these roll-out Sterilite containers. These are really good if you're just wanting to throw things in. I mean, that's what I did. These were originally labeled. This used to be part of my store, but now it's just I've stored vehicles and things in there. There's another popular thing, and I got dozens of these. And that's some more of the shelves. More of the shelves that I had planned on storing built sets, but right now they're holding boxed sets and things. These are good. They hold a lot, and I think it will work eventually when I decide to start displaying built sets. Yeah, I could still use these. Eventually I'll get back to having a Lego City. We just determined that the layout just was not good, so right now it's used more for storing stuff. I hate to take the modulars apart again. I've built them, taken them apart, now I've built them again, but they're acquiring so much dust. It's just really the age-old problem of anybody that keeps things built for a long period of time. You got to take the time to come and dust them off, get you a duster, because they've acquired so much dust just in a short amount of time. It's kind of aggravating. So we did the videos inventorying what was in these boxes, and I want to get back to doing that. I just hadn't had time with everything else that I've been doing, and I'm going to fill more of these up. But I may have mentioned it in those videos, but you see how I got these on the wood? That is to keep them off of the ground, because if anything floods, it's going to run out the back of the house before it gets these wet. But if the cardboard is on the ground, that it can absorb the water up and at the very least ruin the sets that are in the lowest box. And the way water works, it could really even go up higher. It's just, yeah, you can get stuff ruined. I'm paranoid about it. I know Mardi Gras Man mentioned it about having water damage. I had water damage, not from the floor, but from the ceiling in a basement where water came in through a door that did not have a storm door. We had a heavy rain that blew the water in. The water ran along a rafter and then dripped down on a box and ruined a box full of classic pirate sets, which included the Black Seas Barracuda and the Skull's Eye Schooner. I had multiple copies of one of those, but it's the Skull's Eye Schooner. I had not built it yet, so I was pretty upset that the box got ruined, but it was from water coming across and dripping. And not only that, but it also dripped down on some of my comic books and ruined my Amazing Spider-Man 298, 299, and 300, which were quite valuable at that time. Totally ruined them. They were stored in Mylar. If they'd actually been stored in regular comic bags, they would have been fine, but the way Mylar is, you're supposed to leave the top open, and it ruined them, so I won't ever do that again. But that's a comic book problem. Now, another thing I also have these crates. I got these really cheap at Walmart, and you can store stuff in them and stack it and make use of the space, but then it's a pain when you need to get something out in the bottom. So I don't recommend using these. And then if you have a table that you use, whether for being for your city or doing reviews, you can always take advantage of the space that's under it to store other things. This is actually Thomas and Friends stuff here. I have the double problem of not only do I have a very large comic book collection, I have a very large Thomas and Friends collection and a very large train collection and a very large comic book collection. Did I show you the comic books? Well, that's just some of them. There's actually more back through there. But these boxes, these are actually the things I plan on keeping. But boxes like these, I also use to store Lego instructions. And eventually, I'll get more of them in there. Or something even better would be the filing cabinets. So eventually, I'll pick up some filing cabinets. This is actually a filing cabinet that's been in my family for a really long time. I painted it green. It was like some awful orange color before. But you can pick up filing cabinets really cheap sometimes if you keep looking at Goodwill. And you have to watch out. Sometimes there'll be one that has the little lock and the key will be missing and it'll be locked. And you got to break into it. But I've seen them for $10 bucks, you know, a 4-drawer thing at Goodwill. And right now I just got some of these are just got things thrown in there. But this is my most organized drawer. And this is kind of the way I would like to do the instructions at some point. But I was keeping every Lego magazine that came out from the Lego Club. It was Brick Kicks. Then it was Mania. Hey, look, Maniac for Bricks, right? Mania magazine. Right here's the Brick Kicks. So I have all these in chronological order in here. That's the first issue of Brick Kicks. So I got all the issues of Brick Kicks there. I had them in there. All my Lego mini catalogs. Now I made a mistake back in the day of throwing away the extras. I'd keep one catalog from each year and then throw away the extras. I should have kept all of them. I don't know what I was thinking. So, because I know other people might want these catalogs. But then there's the Brickmaster magazines. So I got things stored like that. And I would like to do that. There's old Shop at Home catalogs and such, but I want to do this with the Lego instructions. Storage bricks, not good for storing stuff, especially when you got a bunch of them, because you get stuff in there and you're like, wait, what was in there? Because then you got to label them, and then if you label them, it doesn't look right. So storage bricks are not good for storing. That doesn't make any sense, but it's true. I hate storing stuff in these storage bricks. All right, so that's a overview of some possibilities for how you could store your Lego collection, and maybe these are more the wrong ways that I do it because it's really a big mess. And I have in my mind a picture of what I would like things to be. I'd like to have a multi-level city with a bunch of different sets assembled. I do have the goal of one day building all of my sets and having them built once, having pictures, have it recorded, documented, and then take them apart and do whatever with some of them. Some of them I always keep together, you know, if it's something highly collectible, something I really like. But that's why I have so many sets and I haven't gotten rid of all of them. That's why we've inventoried those in the collection videos, is I want to see if I can get to a certain number and have them all built at once. And it's just, logistically, it's very hard to do unless you have multi-level storage system. I mean, like shelves, or a multi-level table system with, you know, lower level, middle level, top level, that type of thing. But how do you store your Lego, and what have you found to be the best way to keep them clean, keep them where you know you can find them when you need to? I mean, some people have very organized collections. At least it comes across that way when they do YouTube videos. I mean, look at how I think Bricks for Chris is very organized. The way he keeps his city built and makes it where it's easy to work on, move, transport to other places. I think Brick Adjuster was one that had a collection that grew rapidly and has been able to keep it organized and displayable. And, you know, JagsMartin is another that his system is, you know, he builds a set, reviews it, takes it apart, and puts the parts away in his collection or donates them. That's a good way to keep the collection. You know, he keeps everything on the table or stored away somewhere. There's no clutter that you can see. I think typical people are somewhere in between where he is and where I am. You got total complete order, total chaos. I think most people fit in between that. But yeah, things were a lot easier when I only had like 19 sets. I was thinking, I told Mardi Gras this in a text I sent him. It was like, most of us, myself included, I can go to the Lego store and buy more sets in one haul. I've done dozens of hauls that I can buy more sets in that one haul than I had in my entire collection in my childhood. I'm talking from 6 to 18. I probably had less than 25 sets total. Probably closer to 20, and I'm trying to figure out the exact total that I had those first years of my life. I still loved Lego, still imagined having a city, but you know, I can go to the store now and buy 25 sets, and that's what I had as a kid. So, what's it like for you? I mean, did you have a very small collection when you were a kid, and then you got to adult? You maybe had a dark age, came out of your dark age, and then bought a lot of sets because you had a job now that you could afford it. And I think that's what a lot of kids dream of, being able to afford more stuff. But then once you get more stuff, you got to worry about how to store it. And man, I've made this video way too long. I need a beer. I'll see you in the next video.